All right, so this is part 2 of chapter 5, verse 3 to 14, and we're going to continue on the strange woman. And just to recap, I'm going to read the first two uh, verses of 3 and 4. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But her end is bitter as wormwood and sharp as two-edged sword. Now, remember that we spoke on all that. If you could just take time to listen to the other lesson, we talked about what the strange woman is, what she's about, and what is her purpose. It's all about the flesh. It's all about fulfilling her flesh and try to manipulate others to follow her in her deeds. Now, here historically, I'm going to show you two instances of two strong men, two powerful men, two men that are very reverent. I mean, not reverent. I guess very important in the Bible. It really has a type of who we are and what could we be if we if we live a life that is pleasing to the Lord or displeasing. In this situation, both ended the wrong way. They started okay. Well, let's go to the first one. We're gonna go to Judges, chapter 16 and 6. Okay, so this is a story of Samson and Delilah. Samson was a judge in Israel. He was a protector. He was a lawgiver. He was pretty much solving any problem with Israel. And at that time, they were oppressed by the Philistines, and also there was continued fights with them. Samson had a besetting sin that he just couldn't shake. He, instead of him marrying women of Israel, he married strange women, or he got together with strange women. Now, Delilah was one of them. He had another lady before, but that lady ran off and he was upset. That's a total different thing. But here it says, and Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein the great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with the 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak, and as another man. Now, here Delilah is trying to trick or pretty much manipulate him to tell her what is the weakness. I mean, what is the source of his strength? And the reason is because she has been, the Philistines got to her and wanted her to find out what the strength was, where did the strength come from, and so that way they could take him and pretty much vanquish him, defeat him, because he was just terrorizing these Philistines. He was always beating them. But they knew a way that they could get to him. The Philistines figured it out. They said he likes strange women. He likes to fraternize with them, and the devil works like that. He'll find the weakness, and he'll just assault that way. So it came to about that he finally told her, like, well, here, let's see here, 17, that he told her all his heart and said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been an Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb, and if I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I will become weak, be like any other man. And this is he'd done this multiple. He finally gave in because she was nagging, just manipulating him, and he finally told her just to get her off his case. And you would think after a few times that the Philistines came in and tried to capture him because Samson was lying to her. He didn't want to expose himself too much. He didn't want to tell anybody where the strength come from, but she pretty much got to him. Now, his end was not very pleasing. He ended up being dying. Oh, let's see what it says here on verse 28 of 16. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me. I pray thee only this once, O God, that I may be at the once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. So you guys need to take time to read the story. Eventually, whenever they shaved him, his strength did go away, and he was put in chains, and he was pushing a mill. They took his eyes out, and they were mocking him. They put him in the middle of some circle or some area where he just pushed, and people mocked him, the Philistines. And there at the end, the only thing that he asked was, "Please help me, in this situation." And he did. The Lord listened to him, and there was a great party, and they were mocking him. And he got a young man to tell him, "Hey, can you put me on near the two pillars that will hold the room that the Philistines were," because the Philistines were on the roof, and there was an open area where they could see down, and there was people there. So he told the young man, "Hey, can you put me there? Just put me there and leave me there." And that's when Samson asked the Lord for strength. He pushed those two pillars, and the whole building fell and killed more Philistines than he ever done in the past before. But the sad thing is, he died himself as well. He ended up killing himself in the process. And that's what happens whenever you just continue to disobey the Lord. And it happens. Now, the second one, we're going to go to Solomon, the one that wrote the Proverbs. A man that was preaching all this, teaching about all this, and he himself fell on it. Here in chapter 11 of 1 Kings, it says, "But King Solomon loved many strange women." There it is again. Let's see what that note says. Strange women from other countries picture a strange... Well, that's a doctrine. We're going to touch on that later on. Now, here, strange women is, like I said, strange women is people from other countries, and it's going to explain it here in these verses. Strange women from other... Strange women together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, "Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods." Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after the other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, and the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, and the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared him to twice, and commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded. See how tragic that is. He ended up dying an idolater, because he gave his heart to strange women. And to this day, I mean, teenagers that are thinking of getting married, young men and women are thinking of getting married, please, if you're a believer, marry another believer that believes like you, that reads the Bible, that is serving the Lord, and it will be a benefit for your relationship with God. You cannot be a liability as well, and your wife or husband cannot be a liability either. You both have to go to the same church, believe the same things, believe the Bible first of all. Okay, that's the most important thing. Believe the Bible. Believe God. Believe whatever He says is true. You have to come together and get godly counsel with your pastor. If you don't, I'm sure there's men and women out there that can help you. But please, be careful with anybody that does not believe like you, that doesn't believe the Bible, non-believers. Non-believers will marry non-believers, and they will be fine. Hopefully they can accept the Lord later on, but marriage was based for believers. This is something that not a lot of people want to hear. Marriage is for believers. It's not for non-believers. Non-believers, why they, they are who they are. I mean, I'm not talking bad about it because they're great people. I know not quite a bit non-believers that are great citizens of this country, outstanding citizens to help anybody, but they do not believe in God, and they have, first of all, their spirit's dead. They're not born again, so that God cannot speak to them directly because of that. Now, I'm going to close that there. There's two historical things. There's more in the Bible here about strange women. And here on the next one, part 3, we're going to talk doctrinally of what the strange woman represents here in the Bible. Okay, so thank you for listening. Please watch out for the other video. Thank you.